Hour number 3, Need to Know Morning Show. Steve, Alex, and Kevin here with you on the program today. Good to have you with us for the Need to Know Morning Show. Coming up in about 25 minutes or so, it's the What's on Your Mind program. And Alex and Kevin will be taking you through the first half hour of that today.
Yes, we will.
Ready to go.
It's usually fun.
Getting that taken care of for you. And then at 9 o'clock today, the statewide edition of the program will be rocking and rolling today. I think, is it Ron Ness today,
Yep.
Kev, as well?
Yep,
So,
Ron Ness today, and then Leon Francis and Raheem Williams tomorrow.
yeah,
Leon
fantastic.
tomorrow. Awesome.
Yeah.
And you remember Raheem, we had him in the other day,
sure. Yeah.
local economist guy, really
Yeah.
smart dude, so
College.
very cool. Well, we're excited to have Barry Mehring in the office with us today, in the easy chair here in the studio today. Barry from Right at Home in Healthcare, and Barry's always good to stop by and help us think about topical things regarding in-home care that we need to be aware of. And we get so much great advice from him every time he comes in. Barry, good to see you, man. Thanks for coming by.
Thanks, Steve. Good to see you.
Merry Christmas to you and your family.
Likewise.
And
Thank you.
I understand you're getting ready to leave us and getting ready for some warmer climates. Good for you.
Yeah, I spent a week down in Arizona over Christmas, so
man.
that'll be nice.
Well, I hope the weather gets better. It hasn't been much better down there than up here. For
Been
goodness
terrible. Yeah. And this, I remember last year I was down there. I go down there frequently, and it either had snowed or sleeted. Every time I was down there, the weather was terrible over the winter. So hopefully this year's a little better.
Let's hope. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You'll bring the golf clubs with, I hope.
Yeah, they're down there. I leave them all winter down
okay,
there.
Nice. That's how you do that. Yeah,
That's
very
the
good.
way to do
That's
it.
the way to
yeah.
do it.
Very good. So it's cold here, right? I mean,
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, this just into the newsroom. Freezing cold weather, and when we're young, and I'd like to think that we all constitute young. The cold is a nuisance. You got to deal with it. You got to be careful. You got to respect it. But when it gets to be the winter time, and maybe you got mom or dad living with you, grandma and grandpa is living with you, that brings up a whole bunch of other things to talk about too, doesn't it?
Yeah, we forget a little bit. It's kind of the thing. You go to grandma and grandpa's or your mom and dad, depending on your age, and it's always about 85 degrees in their house, and you kind of wonder why. And
Yeah.
there are physical things that happen as you age, and your blood vessels cannot constrict like they can when you're younger, and that's how you retain heat. And your fat layer gets a little bit less in the skin, so there are some real physical changes that do happen when you get older, and you wonder why. And now because if you get older, you kind of just get tired of the cold, and you want to go someplace warm.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, that's good news. The fat layers go away as we get older.
Apparently,
that's good news
yes, I know.
Good news for those
But
of
does
us.
diet
the
program.
fat go away?
Yeah.
It's probably
Just
something
go somewhere
different.
else. Yeah.
Yeah. And
Go
so
south.
Right.
get the heck out of here. So that's a risk factor, right? That we've got to be careful about. What are some of the things in our home that we can help control? Maybe we bring the thermostat up a little bit, but maybe the rest of us are going to sweat our heads off if it's too hot. So how do you kind of keep that balance in your home? What are some things you could do?
Yeah, I like even in your own home, just for pure, saving a little money and stuff like that. You don't need to maybe necessarily heat the whole house, but they typically in the extremities and down in the lower extremities in particular get a little bit colder. So I would just say, first of all, make sure there are no drafts. Make sure the vents are either on or off. Maybe there's rooms that you can shut the vents down a little bit to get a little more heat in certain areas, and that'll save a little money and keep everybody warm. And just typical things, even like when you're younger, you got to dress in layers, keep the extremities lower extremities warm.
Yeah.
Put a blanket around them.
Slippers, whatever.
Slippers, yeah, because they will get a little bit colder kind of in the waist down just because that's farthest from the heart.
Well, and a lot of us, if we've got mom or dad living with us or staying with us for a while, a lot of times we have a downstairs area for them, and those oftentimes can be the coldest places in the house.
Yeah, my house the same. I do my kind of semi-annual close the vent, open the vent, because it's too cold in the summer and then not enough in the winter. But yeah, you've just got to be careful. We usually keep our fireplaces running, and just remember that they will experience colder, and they have other, medications can affect them. They could be, hopefully not the case of your folks or whatever, but could be malnourished. They need more, keep hydrated. Different things.
Yeah. So when we have a drop in body temperature, I'm guessing that can lead to some other issues too, other than just, hey, I'm cold, give me a hat, right?
Yeah, the typical thing is the hypothermia, and I think when you get to 95 degrees or less is when you can start experiencing that. And we all experience it. It's the same. But I think with seniors, they don't necessarily even have to be outside in the cold to do that. Medication can affect them. Maybe they had a stroke. Parkinson's can do it. I think it's just being aware of the fact that they will get colder and that you have to go through those steps and just try to keep them warm, because otherwise, it can, heart problems, there's all kinds of more serious problems that can happen when, the body temp gets too low.
And you don't want grandma turning to the eggnog to try to warm up. That's
No,
maybe not the best way.
That's a fallacy regardless of your age. Yeah, people will go to alcohol to try to warm up, and it actually does the opposite. Yeah.
Why do we feel warmer after a couple glasses of vino? I have this nice warm glow.
Yeah, when I have that red wine,
it's
there's nothing like
good.
a glow from that.
Yeah, we all love that glow, but it will pull a little more heat out of you.
It's my beauty secret.
Plus, it'll make you more dehydrated.
I'm convinced.
You want to know my secret?
I'm convinced the North Dakota Sweet Crude has the opposite effect. I don't know what it is. It's like magic elixir.
Yeah, that's all
That's
good stuff,
too.
and we all enjoy it. But it will dehydrate you too, and then that further makes you a little bit colder.
It's a good thing there's one adult in the room here.
Who's that? No, him.
Hey, I like to drink like the rest
like
of them.
not us.
So what's a good temp to set the house at?
Well, I even like to keep mine a little cooler, but they recommend just anywhere from like 68 to 72
that's
at
not so
a
bad.
minimum.
Yeah.
And then just bundle them up.
Yeah.
You don't have to crank it up because, there's no point of heating the whole house up when it's just typically one or two people that are cold. You can just, bundle them
They've
up.
got
real
those
good.
little space heaters too. Those are fabulous.
They're good. Now, the thing they say with that always, look out, be careful for fire.
Fire
And
hazard,
tipping
yeah.
them. Yeah.
Because
Unplug
they
them
can,
when you're done with it. Yeah.
Some are better than others where they're like this radiant heat. Even if they
Yeah.
tip over, they can't cause
Right.
a fire.
Not a big deal.
Yeah.
And part of the thing too, nutrition and hydration works into all that stuff we're talking about regulating heat and just get good, healthy body function. So that's part of the story too.
Very much so, and it's so funny. Everything we talk about could be for you, me today,
Yeah,
kids,
no kidding.
Everything, But seriously, with the seniors too, it gets a little more serious. Having regular meals so that they can produce that heat, keeping hydrated, all that stuff is a huge part of regulating your body heat.
Yeah.
Just make sure they're eating enough and eating the right foods.
Yeah, that's really good information there.
Yep.
So Barry, tell us a little bit, if people aren't familiar with Right at Home, what do you guys do?
Well, we're a home health agency or home care agency. There's different terms for it, but this is what we do. We go in and take care of seniors and make sure, for instance, if we see them shivering or something going on, and they could be just for medication or Parkinson's, we can catch that early enough. So we go in, we try to catch these changes of condition, basically. Every shift, the caregiver has to sign out and note if there was a change in condition or not with that client. So we are always on top of it, and the first thing, so we're there just kind of doing all the basic stuff like bathing, toileting, dressing, and companion care too.
Okay.
So we do everything for that senior.
So is this, do you get most of your business from people that say, hey, I'm getting a little old, I could use a little help, can you come help me? Or is it, mom and dad came in to move in with Steve and Tracy, and we've got to work long hours, or we might take a trip, and so they hire you to come in for, every Wednesday or maybe for a week while we're gone, and just make sure that they're doing okay? What's a typical client for you guys?
I'd say a little bit of both,
Okay.
maybe even 50-50 because,
Okay.
a lot of times the fancy term is called respite when somebody wants a break, for that. So we get that quite a bit. And then either the senior or one of the kids typically will call us for more permanent long-term care.
Yeah.
And either way, it's a very, not that you don't love your parents, whatever, but you can't be there
That's
all the
right.
time because you have a job,
Yeah.
you got a family, you got kids, whatever the deal is. So
Yeah.
I'd say it's 50-50. And, the end result is, giving the family caregivers a break and maybe getting a little bit more professional care in there.
Yeah.
And so it's probably half and half.
Okay, very good. If people want to find out more about you and the services that you provide, I mean, you can tell listening to Barry talk, can't you, that he knows his stuff and they care about the people they're talking with. Who else would you want to work with when it comes to this kind of stuff? So how do people find out more about you? You got a website or something? People can?
The easiest one, even though we're right at home, just you can go to fargohomecare.com.
FargoHomeCare.com.
Yeah, that's
Okay,
probably
okay.
the easiest. And then 701-997-0400.
Okay, 997-0400,
Yeah,
right.
but fargohomecare.com is
I
probably
like
the
that.
best.
FargoHomeCare.com.
Yep.
Yeah, give him a call and ask him, find out what it costs. Doesn't cost anything to ask some questions and get some information and, maybe help make it a better year in 2020 for not only you and your family, but also mom and dad, grandma, grandpa, whoever you got staying with you in your home. Barry, always great to see you, man. Thanks for coming by.
Thanks, Steve. Thanks for having me.
I'm jealous, you dirty dog, getting out of here, leaving us behind and going to Arizona.
Let's hope it's at least in the 60s.
Yeah. Bring back some of that sun.
Oh, I hope so. I got to have sun. That's a big thing for me.
That's about right. I can handle just about anything temperature-wise if we get a little bit of sun.
A little bit of sun.
And we have had some this week.
Yeah.
This morning we're not, but we'll take this. It'll be okay.
Even yesterday was nice with the sun.
It wasn't bad.
Yeah.
And you get in the car and it doesn't feel so bad.
Yeah, I did a lot of driving. I had a client prospect in Perham, so I did a lot of driving yesterday, and it was beautiful.
Good day to drive. All right, Barry, good to see you. Merry Christmas.
Thank you, Steve. You too.
Barry Mehring.